All right, let's keep it going. The basic scale of 100, crypto. Digital currency, cryptocurrency, the legal clarity. We're at the first month of the year, a very interesting position. Some would say it's the first quarter. The people in the know understand that it's the second quarter. We know that the first quarter fiscally, the fiscal year, people with money move on the fiscal year. Slaves, they work on the calendar year. It's what it is. Do we know our roles here? Or are we too busy chasing clout? The fiscal year begins in October. October, November, December is the first quarter. And then January, February, March is the second quarter. It is a pivotal point. We remember what happened last year, right? January, February, March, April, May, June. The third quarter, right? The second quarter for the slaves, but the third quarter for the fiscal. What happened in the third quarter? The tariff scare, when the markets dipped in April, either March or April. Do we remember what happened during COVID? That was March into April. The dip. Why does it seem to always happen between March and April? Between the second and third quarter of the fiscal year, right? Between the first and the second quarter of the slave year, the calendar year. You have to know what it is and you have to know your role in it, right? You know I got to talk that crap before I start doing my analysis. The markets have closed, right, except for cryptos 24/7. Soon all markets will be 24/7 because we're going digital. They're trying to lure you into the slaughterhouse. They're trying to give you full access so that you can keep giving your money to the system because you don't know the numbers. So we're going to go into a few more numbers here because earlier we talked about the temperature checking tools. Bitcoin, the ultimate temperature check. Ethereum, the temperature check for the altcoins. XRP, possibly the digital dollar. All right, let's go into some altcoins. We'll start with Hedera, HBAR, the hash graph. I don't know all the background stories about everything, but I do know the price. You have to understand the price so that you can gain an advantage in your life because trading is life and life is trading. You could either be doing some trading or you can just be the person that's being traded, the slave, right? You have an opportunity to boss up. So we're helping you navigate through price to be able to boss up and break generational financial curses for you and your family. We're going to talk about HBAR, DOGECoin, and Shiba Inu, the dark horse, Shiba Inu. People are sleeping on Shiba Inu, and I'm going to show you why. We're using 3 altcoins, right, that most people don't know about, but everyone knows Bitcoin. Most people know Ethereum. Some people know XRP. Do we know what about HBAR? Dogecoin is a meme coin. Most people know about Dogecoin as a meme coin. They know about Elon Musk, right? And then Shiba Inu follows behind Doge, their dog memes, right? So just a little quick explanation as to what they are, what they look like, right? But what's the price? Because once you see the price, you can apply the basic scale of 100 to it, right? So with HBAR, and we'll just double this up because they're under $1. HBAR is under $1 and Dogecoin is under $1. I can go to the chart and see where they've been. It don't really matter. What matters is that Are they going to be here in the future? Well, you can go to WEBULL and type the names in and see if they have futures contracts, because if they do have futures contracts, chances are they're going to be here in the future. And we know that quantitative tightening stopped on December 1st. They announced that we're no longer tightening. That means we're going into a quantitative easing cycle in the monetary system, the money. Most people don't know this because most people don't have no money. I don't know no rich people. So, of course you wouldn't know. Futures contracts. XRP was sued by the SEC because the SEC was claiming that Ripple XRP was a security and not a commodity. XRP beat the SEC and proved that Ripple and XRP are commodities and not securities. Hence, they get qualified to go over to the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, to be given a futures contract, which is tradable on all markets. Hence, why you need to have a broker that gives you access to HBAR or XRP. So XRP is not only winning for XRP, it's winning for all cryptos: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, HBAR, DOGECoin, Shiba Inu, Cardano, Avalanche, Polygon, all the names. They are not securities. They have been proven to not be securities, and they have been proven that they are commodities. They all get to go to the CFTC, file for their futures contracts, because all of them haven't went through yet. We know because if you type the name into WEBULL, you can see which ones have futures contracts and you can see which ones who don't. Now, every crypto that I talked about today, that I'm going to finish talking about because I haven't done these three yet, all I'm going to do is go through the scale and where do they fit on the scale, which is awesome because they dipped. As they dip, what does the market say? What do the people say? Oh, it's going to zero. You just say that because it's going down. You don't know where it's going down to. It's going down to the discounted rate. Beyond the discounted rate. You're supposed to be accumulating when it goes down there, when it's extreme fear. And it's really no longer extreme fear. We were in extreme fear about a month ago. And crypto is just coming off the floor. We're having this baby breakout right now, as you see on the charts, no matter which, because Bitcoin is the temperature check. It's had its breakout. Ethereum's having its breakout. XRP is having its breakout. HBAR is having its breakout. Dogecoin and Shiba Inu are having their breakout from whatever you consider to be the bottom. Because you have to look through the chart to see if it's really a bottom. And in most cases, you're coming off a legitimate bottom. January 1st, a pivot point. Very interesting. I can only tell you what the chart says. And I can tell you from the technical perspective, and I can tell you from a fundamental perspective. And then the price. Let's talk about the price. HBAR, or let's see. HBAR is at 12 cents at the 150 quarter-ish, right? Because 15 cents is the bottom of the scale. I can keep writing it out, but I just like to stop it at that last little level right there. And you can break it down even more. Once you're down there, you can break it down even more as if you're in a microscope. I might even write it out for you right now. But 15 cents, the discount. We talked about this in the original video about how special 15 cents is in stocks. Crypto is not stocks. You would wish it was, but no, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble with crypto. It's very volatile, we all know. But the numbers, the basic scale of 100 is undefeated. You want anything at a discounted rate, that any kind of asset. So at 12 cents and 150, right? 15 cents. Then you go to 14 cents. And then from 14 cents, you go to 13 cents 50 is the premium. 12 cents 50 is the middle. 11 cents 50 is the discount. You can keep going down. Then we go to 11 cents would be a premium. 10 cents would be the middle. And then 9 cents would be the discount. You can keep on going and keep on going, right? Dollar cost averaging. Now at 12 cents and 150, I'm not going to put $1,000. I could, but I can break that 1,000 up into two 250s, right? 4 sets of 250s, and put 250 right here. If it dips down a little further, I could put another 250 in, dip down a little further. But always at a discounted rate. Very important to understand discounted rates. Save your capital for when your asset goes to a discounted rate. Oh, I don't have time to look at the chart all day long. No, you put alerts on it. People always have these slave excuses, right? That's why they're replacing you with AI, because you have all these damn excuses. You put the alerts on your assets. I don't have any alerts. Go get a WEBULL account for free so that you get free alerts. And when it hits your alert, you have your capital available, and be prepared to enter at discounted rates. Be prepared to enter when Trump says something stupid about tariffs and then the whole market dips by 30 to 40%. You have 250 available to hit the dip. It ain't going to stay down there long, because markets are built to go up. And the slaves, it moves off the back of the people. As long as the people continue to be slaves, the market will continue to push to the upside, because the greedy will always be greedy and slaves will always be slaves. These are the truths that if I would have been told all this coming out of high school, I'd be on Mars somewhere by now, because these truths are serious. This ain't none of that other stuff. I'm not even going to talk about that stuff. All that stuff they told me was real. This is real. The numbers are real. You can prove it to yourself. So that's my goal on this channel, is to constantly walk you through the truth. You could either go out there and use your neck and your back and your ankles, or you can come in here and use your fingertips and your eyeballs and your brain and extract money from the market by buying low at discounts, selling high at premiums, and staying out the middle. Now, we go to DOGECoin. DOGECoin is at 14 cents, 350-ish, right? It's below 15 cents. It just seems like anything that's below $1 is below 15 cents. I don't even have to go look at nothing else. I can go type out maybe Tron, Cardano, Avalanche, Polygon, and they'll probably all be below 15 cents right now, because that's their area. That's the area of those coins. They're not at the 150 level like XRP, and they're not at the $5 level like the other coins are at $5, and some are at $10, and some are at $25. They all have their own levels. And when they go down, all the charts look the same, but they're in different price brackets. So as long as I'm below 15 cents, I'm getting a great discounted rate, is the point that I'm really making. You see, we're getting this little baby breakout. What if it keeps breaking out? What if that was the bottom? A lot of people missed it. I've been in since 2 years ago, so I'm not really worried. I need XRP to drop down to 150 and below before I dollar cost average anymore. I'm not just jumping into positions. No, you're creating taxable events, and I don't want to take this too far and get you all wigged out. I want to keep it right here. Right? I need XRP to drop to 150 or 140 before I purchase any more XRP, because I have to wait for it to come to the discounted rate. If it don't go down there, it just don't go down there. I don't put nothing in. I just keep putting money to the side until it hits the number. How do I know it hits the number? By looking for the alert. Let's go to Shiba Inu. This is special because you have all these zeros. The zeros don't matter. It can have, well, it does, because you can go to 0, 0, 0, right? We're not at that. We consider this to be 4 zeros and 5 zeros, right? When we get below 10, we lose a 0 up at the top. Now the 9 is the discount. So now I see the 900. I can see the 850, 750, 650, right? I can see the 600, 500, 400. I can see 350, 250, 150. As soon as you get to the numbers, you can build the scale. And this Shiba Inu is a special case because it has a futures contract. All cryptos don't have futures contracts. There are cryptos who are ISO 222 compliant. Shiba Inu is not one of those. Yet, it has a futures contract. They're not just going to give a crypto a futures contract unless it's going to be here in the future. There are cryptos who are waiting and dying to be able to say, oh, we finally got our futures contract. Why does Shiba Inu have a futures contract? I have no idea. But when I type it into my Google or my WeBull account, it shows me the January contract, February contract, March contract. It don't just have futures contracts. It's repeating. It's going into the next contract. They're posting the next contract. Because once one contract is done, it goes to the next contract. They have to continually post the next contract. Shiba Inu is a dark horse. And I can't wait. I mean, you see it at the 850 level. See? Up there. I got the stars because I had to mark it off. It's at the 850 level. You wanted it down at 150. You see what I'm saying? You always want to wait for it to go down there, and it will. We're too late. We already went through the fear and greed index, went to the ultimate extreme fear a month ago, and this was down at 150. I already purchased mine, right? I don't know what else to tell you, but I'm glad to be able to come in here, and we did a two for today, right? Because it's good to talk about crypto because crypto is running 24/7. So, and I had the chance to come in here and explain the basic scale of 100 to you. Video's a little longer than usual, but it was special because all the cryptos that I talked about today all have futures contracts. How do you know what to buy? You buy something that has a futures contract and you wait for it to drop to a discounted rate and you dollar cost average. You know who we do it for the people, not the profits. It's the consistency and persistency that wins in the market. And to beat the market, you have to become the market. What market? All markets. Anywhere you spend money is a market. The market moves with integrity through its price. And if you don't have integrity about the price and you call yourself hitting the buy button, you're going to get wrecked. And then you got to go to loss review and go talk to your guru or the person you're paying monthly fees to. And they're just going to look at you and just give you the next thing. They're just going to let you cry on their shoulder or whatever. They'll let you do that as long as you keep paying that fee. All right. That's the clown show. And I hope you figure it out and you get out of there. Right. So shout out to the ones that are active, the ones that are paying attention. They don't have an attention span of a gnat. They can really pay attention to the basic scale of 100. And then they can get to the business. Hey.